To start by talking to you a little bit about how I escaped from the dieting trap. As I've just said, I was trapped in a dieting mindset for years and years. Oh, Miranda, you're seeing the slides clearly as well. That's great, thank you. And I know from talking to lots and lots of people, Steve, you've got it, that's great. Lots and lots of us have been in this dieting trap, and the reason for that is there hasn't been an alternative. But they talk about healthy eating, but we're still stuck in that dieting mindset, and it's still stuck in the trap. So let's go to the first slide that I've got here, and just got to learn to toggle between the two. There we go. So on this first slide, we're looking at stopping the dieting insanity, because you're probably like me, you're like 98% of people who haven't managed to lose the weight. It comes and creeps back on. It's very destructive. When we're in that dieting mindset, it keeps us trapped so negatively, because we make food good or bad. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough. And also, we're trying to stick to things that don't suit our bodies. So how do we find the weight that we were born to be? What are we actually going to do to get ourselves there? Well, first of all, it's, as I keep saying, this is not a diet. It's a lifestyle change process, which means it takes time and it's just steady. And will you revert back to some of your unhealthy eating patterns? Yes, we're only normal, we're only human. I've certainly yo-yoed occasionally backwards and forwards, but only for a day or two, and then I'm back on track and focused on my loving myself. So let's find out more about what it's about. I'm just changing the slides again. There we go. It takes a few minutes for you to see this as well, but here I'm talking about creating a love affair with yourself. For years and years, I realised that diets didn't work, but as I've just said, I didn't think there was an alternative. And I believed that I wasn't good enough. I hated my body. I used all the negative words to think about myself, to talk about myself in my head. And my words and my actions, none of them were loving. It suddenly dawned on me recently that when we're in a love affair with somebody, we love who they are. We accept them for all their quirky bits and their foibles, and we accept their actions. And sometimes when they're not loving actions, we need to step up to the plate and say, I didn't like that. That wasn't very nice. But do we ever do that to ourselves? I certainly didn't. I don't know about you, but I found it very difficult to love myself. I was always looking for love and affirmations that I was okay from other people. But that doesn't work. To love ourselves fully, we need to develop a really wonderful, loving relationship with ourselves, for ourselves, and with food. And I'll be talking about all of that in a few minutes. So let's just go back. I'm stopping the screen sharing now because I'd like to answer some of your questions. So, any questions from anybody about, or any comments about how you've been doing on the Love It to Lose It programme up to now? I did my monthly measuring session this morning, and I'd lost another inch around my top and an inch around my waist. And so that motivates me. I know that one of my clients is really motivated by weighing herself. And that's fine, whatever motivates you. So, any questions from anybody? And tell me what you're doing at the moment on your Love It to Lose It journey, and then we can get some discussion going. So, I have actually been looking at lots of different new things to do. You'll probably be interested that the next email comes out on Friday to you, and that's going to be an animation. I've been playing around with some fantastic animation just to give you some tips and tricks. Oh, Gail, great. You and Mark are doing really well. You've both lost half a stone. Wow, that's fantastic. That is amazing. Yeah. And Miranda, you're saying that the dieting mindset is not sustainable. You're absolutely right. The reason it's not sustainable, I've realised after all these years, is because there's nothing positive about it. The only time we are feeling positive in our own mindset is when we're actually being good. Now, who can be good all the time? Have you ever heard of a relationship with anybody that's perfect all the time? It's not. Yeah, it's not supposed to be. So, setting ourselves up for a fall by believing we have to be perfect all the time and we have to love ourselves all the time is just unsustainable. The difference with the Love It to Lose It program is that once you have slipped off your focus, because it's not good or bad, it's just how it is, it's quite normal. When we slip off that focus and we're not beating ourselves up and we're not mentally telling ourselves how bad we are or how useless we are, then it's easy to get back on focus. Yeah, Miranda, you're saying that changes have to be made permanently, not temporarily. Absolutely. I've just actually this morning done my first video blog, which I will be posting later this week or maybe next week. And that's about loving reality. And the reality is, as I've just said, that we're not perfect. It is very hard to keep on track constantly all the time. So we have to have this mindset, which is a love it to lose it mindset, which says to ourselves, when we've eaten something that hasn't agreed with our body and isn't good for us, we can tell ourselves, actually, that's okay. Ask yourself the question, did you enjoy it? Yay, enjoy your food. Yeah, when I was on holiday recently in Florida, I had the most amazing ice cream. It was Belgian chocolate ice cream. I had it twice actually, but did I feel guilty about it? No, I decided I was going to absolutely love it, and I loved every mouthful of it. Did I have it again the next day or the day after? No, I had it in the second week because I thought, yes, I really would like this again. There was no guilt, no shame, no beating myself up. So it was easy to go and have other meals that were sensible. So, Sharon, you're finding that exercise helps you to sustain your love. That's brilliant. I know how you do love your exercise, and that works for you. The thing is, it's about making sure we are doing the loving things that work for us. I'm not an exercise person. I still haven't got into exercise, as Sharon knows. However, I'm doing a bit, and a bit more than I used to, I have to admit. But it doesn't matter what we do as long as we're enjoying it and we're loving it. Yeah. You love, Miranda, you say you love the feeling you get after exercising. Do you know, I wish I got that feeling, and maybe sometime I will. And I hear lots of people talk about it, but I don't get that. I do get a real buzz when I've eaten things that have really worked well for my body. So it's about knowing what's right for us. That doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't exercise, because exercise is always good for us. But I don't think it has to go along immediately with our weight loss plan and our loving ourselves plan. So let's go back for a moment to the slides, and we'll go to the next one, which is talking about time to change. So, have you got time to change? Is it the time that you're giving to it right for you? can you change things? Can you change your basic body shape? That's what I've talked about in my video log. Hang on a minute, I've just realized that I have not shared that slide with you. I'm still getting to grips with all of this. So here we go. I'm sharing the slide with you now. That should have been shared with you. Okay. No, not quite. Right, here we go. Yes, now it should be shared with you. It takes a few minutes. This technology is wonderful once we get used to it. So, and I've realized now I'm on the wrong slide. So let me go back one. There we go. There we go. Time to change. Okay. So you should be seeing a slide in a moment saying time to change. Yeah. It's about changing our thoughts about our body shape, because we can't change our body shape. It is what it is. Yeah. It's also about changing the way we see food and use food, and changing. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Miranda. You can see the slide now. That's great. Thanks for letting me know. It's also about changing our addictive personality. Not all of us have an addictive personality, but I certainly have. And the trouble is, if you have this addictive personality, you can't change it. You either have it or you don't. And from what the research says that I've been looking at, then it's hereditary. And mine certainly is. I know there's lots of different types of addicts in my family, from an alcoholic to workaholics. But I'm a foodaholic. The difficulty is I'm addicted to certain types of food. And in another program, I will talk in more depth about that. So as I said, this is a lifestyle change, not a diet. And we can make the choice now, which you all have done, which is brilliant, to actually change. So, on to the next slide. So our next slide is change your cravings and binge eating. First of all, the first thing that I learned to do was to switch my mind onto my body and to start eating consciously. Conscious eating is a choice. It's like anything else. We choose to get up in the morning, we choose to go to work, or maybe not sometimes, but choice is about a very important point in this process. We need to choose what we are learning as well. And one of the things that I didn't do before I began my conscious eating, I didn't really understand the different types of hunger. Now, all I understood was that when I wanted food, when I saw food, I ate food. I ate most of the time until I was overfull. And I ate most of the time so that I felt full all the time. I had a huge fear of feeling empty, feeling hungry. I'm learning to love that feeling of hunger now, because there are different types of hunger. The hunger that I'm talking about, that I'm learning to love, is the food hunger, that growly feeling in our stomachs, the feeling that we need to eat now, yeah? But if we get too overly hungry, we will reach out inappropriately for the fast foods, for anything that's to hand, anything easy. The other type of hunger is emotional hunger. When we are emotional in any way, or sometimes like with myself, when the emotion is buried so deep I don't even know I'm emotional, yeah, we reach out for food. It's also comfort eating. or boredom eating. These are all the different ways that our hunger can get to us, but it's not real hunger. When we're reaching out for comfort food, it may be that we're stressed. It may be that we're bored. It may be that we just need to think of something that is more loving than actually reaching out for food. We need to switch our minds back onto our bodies at that point and start to think, which is this hunger? Is it a real food hunger, or is it one of the other types of hunger? Then we need to modify our actions and decide what it is we're going to do. You may make the choice to have one small square of chocolate. Nothing wrong with that at all, yeah? But if we are craving those foods, then it's more difficult. I've certainly identified that the foods that I crave are the sugars and the flour and the fats and all the things I absolutely loved. But the problem is, for me, because I'm addicted to it, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And with refined flours and carbs also spiking my blood sugar, as soon as I've had quite a lot of carbs or some sugar, certainly some chocolate, I crave more and more of it. Those cravings, believe it or not, go away within a couple of days once you cut out the foods that you crave. So now I have a choice. I can choose whether I want the foods that I crave for, and knowing that the cravings will come back, or whether I cut them out completely. So it's how you want to do it and how you feel that it's right for you and for your body. So to change your cravings and binge eating, think about what hunger it is and only eat to the hunger that is for food and the hunger just until you are full enough and not overfull. And if you are addicted to any foods, cut them down, or definitely, if you can, cut them out. The next thing is to change our relationship with food. So I'm just going to put the next slide up. There we go. Changing your relationship with food is about realizing that food is a fuel. It's not good or bad. And we have had years and years of being taught that apples are good and chocolate is bad. You know, it really makes me angry and very sad that in school my 7-year-old granddaughter is being taught good food and bad food, instead of being taught about what food actually works best for her body. So when you reach out for food, there are 3 steps in this process to developing a new relationship with it. First of all, as I've just said, to stop and think, what hunger is this? Secondly, to ask, what do I need to do next? Do I need food, or do I need something that's more loving to comfort me? I don't know, that might be listening to a piece of music that you love. It might be going out for a walk. It might be spending some time with somebody who's special in your life. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not eating when you're not hungry. And then finally, step 3 is to decide what food is loving and non-addictive to your body if it is food hunger that you're feeling. And only time can tell. You can't have a diet plan that tells you what foods to eat and what not. It's only your body that can tell you. And that will take some time experimenting with different foods. So have fun with those foods and tastes, and stop your battle now with food. Okay, now we're going on to the next slide, which is changing your mindset. Okay, now that should be coming up on your screen shortly. The reason I'm talking about changing your mindset is that when we are really critical with ourselves and beating ourselves up about what foods we shouldn't be eating, what foods are bad for us. We are never going to escape the dieting trap because we are stuck thinking that things are not right for us. We're stuck in that negative mindset, which only leads to more eating. Because the more negative we are, the more we're beating ourselves up, the more we are going on and on and on, downwards and downwards into a negative mindset where the only outcome usually is comfort eating. So start to focus on the positive things. Yeah, start to focus on how you have loved that food, and you can have it again whenever you want. You don't have to binge on it. Yeah, change and challenge your negativity. So if you're thinking these hips are far too big, how can I lose more weight off my hips when you're pear-shaped like me? Then start challenging those thought processes and start to love those parts of your body that you've always discounted and hated. Also, cultivate an attitude of gratitude. By that, what I mean is when things aren't going so well and you're thinking negatively and your mindset is full of all these negative thoughts, change them. Think about the things that have gone really well in your life, the wonderful people in your life, the things that you've been doing, and start to make a gratitude list in your head or in a journal, whatever suits you. I find before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, I just go through my gratitude list and it really lifts me for the day. And if your mindset is set in a positive frame of mind to start off with, then that horrible virus of negativity doesn't get as strong a hold. You can use affirmations. Affirmations are the things like, I am really positive and my mind is going to stay positive all day. Or it may be an affirmation like, I love my big butt. It just depends on what's right for you. But think about writing down some affirmations if those work for you. I know one of my clients, it definitely works for her. So you can always give it a go. If you want any ideas about affirmations, just email me and we'll come up with a few together. So learn to turn the negative thoughts into positive ones. That's so important. I was always so negative throughout my life when I was on my own. When I'm with people, I'm not negative at all. So I needed to change my mindset when I was on my own. So think about when you need to change your mindset. The next one is change your relationship with your body. Yeah, loving your wobbly bits. Yeah, I've got to the stage now I can stand in front of a full-length mirror in my bra and pants and really love my wobbly bits. I don't know how I've got there. It's just taken time. Starting with looking into my eyes and telling myself how much I love myself. And it really works. It was very hard to do that the first time, I have to admit. Lots of tears. But over the months, it's got easier to look at myself in the mirror and now look at all of me in the mirror. So take this reflective challenge. Look at yourself in the mirror, even if it's only head and shoulders to start off with, and start to love the parts of your body that you want to. Start to love them and gradually work your way to see more praise for your body, to actually pamper your body and look after it and love all the parts of your body. Because if you don't love them, who else will? Somebody might do, and the people that love you, are they wrong to love you and love all your wobbly bits and all your body? No, they love you. So it's time to start loving yourself and loving your body. Anybody got any comments about that? I'm going to go back now to stopping the slide share for a few minutes, and I'm coming back on screen. So So surround yourself with the people you like. Oh, Steve, that is such an important point. Yeah. Toxic people are not good for us. Yeah. Because they bring us down. And what happens when we're down? We reach out for food. Yeah. You love, Miranda, you say you love the idea of starting to love your reflection in the mirror. Oh, okay. It is incredibly hard. Yes, you're right. And for many women, I don't know, Steve, whether it's the same for men as well, but we women do find it difficult to look into our eyes and to really love ourselves. Yeah. However, Miranda, what I can say is that if you practice it, not necessarily on a daily basis, I didn't do it on a daily basis, I just did it gradually. When I'm putting my makeup on in the morning, I would stop for a few minutes, look myself in the eye, and start to tell myself, I love you. I love you because you are wonderful. Yeah. And if somebody else in your life and other people can say that, I honestly believe we should be saying it to ourselves. Steve, okay, thanks for that. You're saying it's not quite the same for men, which is great because you don't have the hang-ups we have, yeah? But you have different issues. So what other issues do you have that you'd like to share with us, Steve, and see what I can do? Too true, Gail, you're saying it's hard to love yourself when you disgust yourself. Oh, sweetheart, I have been there. I know. Yeah, I know exactly what that feels like. But Mark loves you. And so if you loved you too, just think about how much more life and love you would have in your life. Yeah. There's no need to be disgusted with ourselves because there's absolutely nothing wrong with us. Finally, the diet industry is being blown out of the water because all those things that we have been told for years, that we are weak-willed, we've got no willpower, it's all our fault. That's the biggest load of rubbish. Yeah. It's the biggest load of rubbish because we're now seeing that 80% of the foods on the shelves in our supermarkets is full of additives and sugar, which for a lot of us is highly addictive. So it's not down to us in terms of what we're eating it is, but in terms of what we're thinking, we need to change those thoughts. You're a beautiful lady, Gail. So start to look at yourself in the mirror and start to tell yourself that. Yeah. Sharon, you're saying it's worth making a start because it does get easier. Oh, great. I'm so glad you have been doing some of this because that mirror work does work wonders. Yeah. Oh, good. Gail, you're saying you're traveling on a far more positive pathway now. And you're so worth it. Absolutely. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yeah. So, finding the things that we can love about ourselves and growing that store of things that we can love about ourselves is so important. So let's see what's in the next slide. Now, I'm just toggling between the two. Okay. So, okay, I need to just share this with you because I've stopped sharing it. So, change and live life to the full. Okay, there we go. I have a bucket list. My wonderful friend Jenny started me on this journey of using a bucket list many years ago. We decided that we had all the things and the knickknacks that we actually need. However, what we didn't have was life experiences, a lot of. So instead of buying each other presents for birthdays and Christmas, we decided to make a bucket list And in this bucket list, we put down all the things that we wanted to do before we kicked the bucket. Now, some of them I do with my lovely friend Jenny, and others I do with other people, or sometimes on my own. So it's a really great idea to create that bucket list of the things that you find that feed your soul. Spend time with the people, as Steve says, with the people that feed your soul. I do love that saying and that phrase, because people really do feed your soul. Jenny, or my friend that I do the bucket list with, she looks for the golden nuggets in every day, looking for those really positive things that happen to us. And they are great things, both from our experiences of the bucket lists and people that feed our soul to the golden nuggets every day. These are great things to put on our lists of affirmations, but also to put down on our be good to yourself lists. So Steve, I'm just reading, at the gym or the swimming pool, you see many bodybuilders, yeah, and the comparison is stark, yeah, not encouraging, even if they are obsessive and on steroids. They have problems too. Yes, you are so right. That's actually a really good point, Steve. It brings up the issue of comparing ourselves with others. Once we start comparing ourselves, we are on a slippery slope that goes nowhere, because we start to feel dissatisfied with ourselves. And yes, you've looked beyond that, Steve, to see that actually those people may not be happy because they're not loving themselves. They're looking what they're loving, maybe what they look like, but do they love the real person, the person that they were born to be? Yeah. So it is important not to compare yourself with others, and to change your life and live life to the full, and not go on any more diets. That's what I have committed to at the beginning of this year, because of my lovely friend Miranda. She has really shown me that by committing to no more diets in my life, I can still lose weight. And if you start your journey to a love affair yourself, which you're all doing in different ways, keep it going, because it's absolutely brilliant when you know that you're on the right pathway. So, any more questions or comments before we move on? Because that was the last of my main slides. I'm just going to move on to this other one. As you know, in this Love It to Lose It program, I'm actually developing an online program which will be a 6-month, a 12-month, or an 18-month program, and it will include weekly, or for the 12-month program, twice a week, motivational emails. I'm shortening them even further, because I do know that how busy you all are. Let me know when you get the emails if they're too short or if they're too long. There's going to be daily motivational quotes for those people that are on the 12-month program. And it's going to be a really fun experience for us to work through. Now, I know you're working through the program already with me, and that this is free, and it will continue to be free for those of you that are helping me on this program. But if you know anybody else that you think that this would definitely be good for them, then please let me know, and let them know about the program itself. Because my next slide shows that I've actually, once the online site is ready, I will be offering the 6-month program with the first 3 months free. After the website is launched, it will only be 1 month free on this 6-month program. But if you know of anybody that wants to register for the 6-month program ahead of the website being ready, then they will get the first 3 months free. So please pass the message on and let other people know. And then finally, I'm just going to leave you with this slide, which a lot of you know anyway. This actually shows you all the different ways that you can follow me. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have followed my blog. I haven't been blogging an awful lot recently because I've been writing so much content for the website, but the blog details are there. It's loveittoLoseIt.blogspot.co.uk. A bit of a difficult one to say. I've got new YouTube videos going up, and I'm doing a lot of research on YouTube. So the videos mostly are not of me or anything I'm doing, but they're all to do with the psychology of weight loss and addiction and the foods that may work for your body well. So it's about taking the Love It to Lose It program and actually exploring more things so that you are learning all the time, slowly, but you are learning. Because this, as I keep saying, is a lifestyle change program. So it's about learning constantly about yourself and about food and about